And three, two, one. What's good, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of The Dream.
In the GO.A.T.
And basically, what we're doing here is while I'm sitting here playing on the Warzone, we're just gonna, talking about basic shit, asking each other questions about life and sports and movies and all that other good shit.
See, we ain't gonna tackle too much of that here on this first episode. This first episode is more about getting to know us, getting to know our personality, so you can gauge how we feel about certain things before we even speak on it. You know what I mean?
All right.
So let's dive right in it. My first question for you, Preem, is there a story behind your name? Because a lot of people don't know. They know you as Supreme Sage 97, Supreme the Dream. They don't know
Ah,
Tyger Brown. Is there a story behind the name Tyger Brown?
actually, yeah, there is. It's a kind of a funny story. So my mom's right. She has a twin,
Hmm.
but he was kind of unexpected. So like my grandma, she is kind of gave him like an off the wall name, which is basically the male version of my mom's name, which sounds hella funny. So he didn't want to go around as a little kid with his original name, so they just started calling him Tiger. And then since him and my mom was so close, I took on the name.
That's legit. That's a legit story. See, my name, I ain't, my name's a little bit different, different
Uh,
as well. I ain't, I got a story. It ain't really a story. It's just I'm just named after my dad. His middle name. Only one of my siblings, only one of my dad's kids, I should say, one of my dad's sons that is named after anybody else. So I guess I'm lucky.
you wanted the free chosen, huh?
I've been chosen what?
I feel it. I feel it.
I just want to say, yes, I'm sweating. It's hot as hell in Pennsylvania today. It's like 96, man. And I
Bro,
ain't got
Georgia ain't nothing different.
I ain't got no central air, and I can't have the fans going while we recording. So I'm going through it right now. um, okay. My next question for you is, what was life like growing up in Georgia? Like,
Um, whenever you're young, you don't really understand a lot of negativity going on in the world, so you just try to like stay positive with everything. But I mean, I'm not gonna say that racism didn't exist growing up because I have had some moments
you
of
just numb?
racism and discrimination when I was little. But
You think you was just
growing
numb
up
to
around
it?
them, yeah, it's like when you're little, you know it, but you don't truly understand it. All you know is just what you learn from school. But growing up in Georgia is like growing up anywhere else, just
Man,
different climate.
that's facts. Like, I remember growing up, like being followed by the police and follow when you go into a store. That was normal. Like I never
Yeah,
really thought
like
of it as racism until I got older.
yeah.
But like as a
You're
kid,
sitting there like you sitting there thinking, maybe they're just trying to make sure you ain't stealing or nothing like that,
right? Because it,
because
it
so
used to be
it
motherfuckers
happens.
that go in there and run it up. Like
Just just tell what they want. They ain't care about nothing.
facts. See, I don't know. That's just like that closet racism thing. Touchy subject, especially around this
Ah,
time of year.
bro, don't get me started on 2020.
That's crazy. So my
People
next
really say,
question that I have for you was like, what was the most like racist thing that you experienced as a child that you didn't realize was racist until you were an adult?
oof, that's a tough one. Um, all right,
Got a lot to choose from.
yeah, I do actually, and the crazy thing about this one isn't even like while I was in Georgia. This is actually while I was traveling to Mississippi for a family reunion. So I think I was like 9, maybe 10. Yeah, about 9 or 10. And usually around the summertime, the whole family get together in a certain location, whether it's Georgia, Mississippi, or Florida. 'Cause that's where most of the family's from.
Hmm.
And we stop at this gas station, And me being the little kid that I am, you know, as a little kid, you can't hold your bladder for nothing. When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
So I go in and you know, I go use the bathroom and stuff like that. And I look at my mom's and I was like, hey, can I get like some chips or something, like a snack for the road? And she's like, yeah, just pick something out. Literally, I had my hands in my pockets because growing up, I like having my hands in my pockets. It was comfortable. And
With your shirt tucked
yeah,
in.
no, bitch.
Uh,
Shirt was never tucked in. So literally, as soon, like not even a couple of seconds after I put my hands in, the dude at the counter, he was like, "Hey, what are you doing back there?" And me, I'm just thinking, he's probably there's nothing of it, just trying to see what a little kid is doing, like by himself. He probably doesn't see my mom around. I was like, just getting me a snack, but my mom's about to buy it, and he's like, yeah, sure, that's what they all say. And it didn't really click to me that he was assuming that I was trying to steal some stuff. But growing up, like rethinking about the situation, you know, like going through memories and shit, I kind of realized, like, damn, he thought I was just another nigga trying to steal.
you know it's crazy. Like as kids, like we know that's racism, but because you remember that moment, because you know if it really wasn't
Hmm.
that significant, it would have just been like, oh, you know, you never would have remembered it. But you as a
Oh,
child, you like kind of knew like that ain't you, you asshole, you know, you
oh,
dickhead.
facts. Is mostly because that was like the first ever like one-on-one from me to someone else racist encounter that I've ever been in. So it's kind of like one of those moments that stick, you know?
Yeah, 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 definitely. So what was like high school like in Georgia? I mean, high school was similar everywhere for the most part, but you know, like shit is
All
different. Like, you know, you get what I'm
right,
trying to say.
okay. That's a tough one. Because being me growing up, I moved around a lot because my mom liked to move. She liked to travel,
Hmm.
which is weird because it's not even like she like travel to different parts of the world. We literally traveled within the same hour, 2, 3 hour vicinity of where we lived at. The farthest I've ever moved as a kid was Fayetteville, North Carolina, which was very interesting. Living in North Carolina was kind of the same as living in Georgia, but more suburban areas. But
Suburban, less urban.
yeah,
Is that what you're trying to say?
pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Predominantly white neighborhoods is what we usually lived in, you know, safer.
Hmm. Safer.
But
That's racist.
ask me if I care. Ask me if I care. Come on, now, you know me. But high school for me was pretty basic, you know. Um, I was really into music back then, still am now, and there was a guitar class that we had, so I took that freshman, sophomore year. So guitar is really the first instrument I learned how to play and got good at.
So you think you could play like Ed Sheeran's "Thinking Out Loud"? You feel me? Like that's a go-to song for me. Like the bitch love that for real.
Actually, I could, yeah,
I don't even know how to think. I gotta
bro.
hear it.
Nah, bro. So my go-to song when I was in high school, because I used to take my guitar with me, because we used our personals for class. It was a song called "Far for You." Well, "Fall for You" by Secondhand Serenade.
Never
Got him
heard of
every
it.
time.
Never heard of
It
it.
is. It's like a little love song. It got him every time.
Every time. That should
Yeah,
go to. So
it
what's
was.
what's one experience that you experienced with your high school friends that you feel like the world should know because that was like a big moment to you? Like it was something that'll always stick with you.
Oh, the time we snuck into a college party in Savannah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
So
crazy.
junior year, me and my boys were chilling in Savannah because we were staying at my best friend's mom's place because
Uh,
his parents were separated. And you know, we in the house, we bored, and Savannah State was like literally 5 minutes away. but the party was so crazy you could hear the music from his house.
Damn.
So one of my boys, he was like, "Yo, let's go check it out, see what's up." And me being the only one with common sense, like legit the only one with common sense, I'm like, "Bro, we literally like 16, 17 years old. They not about to let us in this." Sure enough, they let us the fuck right on in.
Blew your mind.
It did. I was literally blown. I was like, nah, these people know they get into some real trouble for this. But hey, there's drinks, there's
Dang, so you
drugs.
went to a college party where they had like drinks and like, shit out just for everybody. Like,
Oh yeah, they was going crazy.
never experienced a vibe like that. Never in my
That shit,
life.
that shit was wild.
Maybe once.
Nah, bro, Georgia's a vibe, dog. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people shit on Georgia, but it's really a nice place to live.
See, and what a lot of people like don't know, like easy now, it's easy for like younger people in high school to get into like college parties because they all look older. They don't know. Like when we was 16, we used to look 16. Like
Oh God,
and they
like you could just tell.
and they call you out for it every time. Like, what your young ass doing here? You feel me? Or
Like, bro,
some shit like that.
like, hey, motherfuckers be pulling up. Hey, who let their baby brother in here? Somebody get him. But nah. But yeah, nah, high school, it was pretty basic. I didn't really like the whole thing about prom because it was literally just people dancing for an hour just to leave after you take a couple pictures and spending $200 on on a suit, extra 100 on some shoes, probably putting in a little extra on a limo because you think you're getting some that night.
Oh, see, look, prom is
Am I
like,
wrong?
you experience like that, that TV prom. Like here, prom is different. Like when I say different, they treat it like it's like the Met Gala or something. People come, flies dress, flies cars. You feel me? Like that page, like Slade proms. Like up
Hmm.
here, they could probably put everybody that walk down. You feel me? For prom on that up here, like they take it that real. Like you'll see, like designer suits, designer shoes, foreign cars, all the crazy rentals, all the Hellcats, all the demons you want to think of. That's when they bring them out. It's prom season. Like
Just going all out.
yeah, like I went to prom. What I want to say 3 times. I went 2 times at my high school, and then one time at Sharon. It was, you feel me? It was legit, but man, that process, like, you feel me? Like after you walk down and you go through everybody, I was cool. Like you said, when you go back and everybody just start dancing, it's time for me to go home. You feel me? Like I ain't feeling
Facts.
this. I ain't
Like
about to get
you
up
done
here.
did your walkthrough. You done said hey to all your people. You done took your pictures.
Facts,
No point now.
facts. I'm not about to Cupid shuffle. Like,
But nah, no cap. The only thing that was great about prom was the after parties.
ooh, see, look,
That's where everything got crazy.
see, I was a
No,
I was a square, I guess you could say, in high school. I mean, I'm still not a person that'll go out and party all the time, but like high school, never went to a party. I probably went to like two parties my whole life. Didn't have great experiences. Ain't going back. Like it just wasn't me.
I'm gonna definitely ask you about those. We definitely put those in there. But nah, like it was basic.
Okay. So along like throughout high school, you decided at some point that you wanted to go to the Marines. Like, how did that decision come about? And like, what was like that? Like, what was that
Ah,
process like talking to your mom about that? Because you went active duty, didn't you?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what was that like?
Um. So funny thing is, at first my mom thought I was bullshitting. Like she really did. Like she thought I was pulling a prank or something. Cause she would have thought I would have wanted to try college first.
Mhm.
But then, which I was gonna. But then I found out how expensive it was. And I was like, yeah, nah, I'm trying to get that golden ticket. So let me see who's available. And it was a choice between the Army, the Air Force, and the Marines. But the Marine recruiter was the only one that actually took the time to actually get everything set up because I had meetings set up for all three of them,
Mhm.
but
It
the
was weird.
Army and Air Force, yeah, that was bullshit. So I had to go with the best choice. And not gonna lie, I may talk shit about it, which I do. You heard it. I talk a lot of trash about it, but it was actually one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my entire life. Like, because they make you not only learn so much about the culture, like the military culture,
Hmm.
but you learn a lot about yourself, like the things that you can push yourself to go through, and your tolerance through whether it's pain, annoyance. That'll test you.
Okay, so we all seen
That'll-
like the Marines like boot camps on fucking Discovery Channel. Did you have to actually go through that? Like the whole
yes,
jumping in the pool, like they forcing you to damn near drown shit. Like
yes. Like what you for boot camp, what you see on TV, that's not bullshit. That's legit what happens.
couldn't do it.
Plus, plus a little more, but that's stuff we can't talk about. Not on this. We can't talk about that. A lot
Can't.
of things that goes down on them boot camp places that you're not supposed to talk about for the public eye. So we're just gonna leave that one.
Save it for a Veterans Day podcast.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Got to get Kev on here for that.
Oh boy. Oh God.
He'd
That's
definitely
gonna be
have some
something.
shit to say.
Shit, Velez too.
You know, Velez.
If you do get Velez on it, ask him about 2018 Velez. He'll tell you some shit.
Got to keep that in mind. I got to keep
God.
that in mind. So, like, what was like your moment in the Marines when you was like, I could really like I really enjoy this shit. Like I really appreciate this shit. Was that during or after that well, hold on. Let's back up a little bit first. Like, what was your high like what is it like ranking up as a Marine? Like a lot of people don't know. I really like I talk to y'all all the time. I still don't really know. Like, can you explain?
Um. Okay. So it's really different. It's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Hmm.
Like, so how they do it as a composite score for ranking up. Actually, no. At first, it's mostly how long you've been in. So before you hit NCO, which is non-commissioned officer, which is kind of like the first step of being in charge of other Marines,
Hmm.
like of lesser rank than you, they do it by time in service, which is how long you've been in. And then that one before you that one before you hit corporal, which is the first rank of NCO, they do a composite score, which is everything that you've done within that time and in numbers. Marine Corps is all a numbers game. That's it. The higher your numbers, the higher your success is.
Okay, that makes sense.
So all your fitness tests, the PFT and CFT, your pros and cons, which is the proficiency and conduct, which sums down to how much trouble you've gotten into and how much work you put in. And then if you've done all your needed classes to pick up that rank,
Okay.
and then if it and then they drop then every month they drop what they call a cutting score. If your composite score is equal to or higher than that cutting score, you get the next rank. If it's lower, then you have to wait another month. Well, not another month. You have to wait another 3 months for that new score to drop for you to pick up the rank.
That shit sounds
Nah, I said it.
tedious. It
It
sounds
is.
tedious.
It's very tedious.
I mean, but it sounds fair though, because I know people that
It
been
is.
working at my job for 20 years and they ain't even supervisors. Like they had the opportunity to go, thing, but the interview process, is subjective at that point. Once
Mhm.
you add that in there, it's subjective. You can't really, you're not looking at credentials anymore. You looking at, who do I like the most? You get what I'm saying? Especially when the job
Yeah,
requirements is the same for the supervisor as it is, the supervisee. So
which is which in my opinion is weird because you would think the ones with the most experience would have the higher chance of getting a supervisor position.
yeah,
Like,
see,
hey. But favoritism is everywhere. That's really how
Definitely.
it is. Favoritism is everywhere.
So, what was the hardest part about being in the Marines? Like, what was the hardest thing to give up? What was the, what was it like? You miss sleeping in, you miss, smoking a blunt here and there, you miss, just I don't know. You can get a different job at any
Um,
point. Was that a big thing? Like,
um, so a lot of times I say that the one thing I missed the most was smoking, but when you really think about it,
please
the
clarify
only
what you're talking
thing
about smoking. Please clarify. This is the internet. Look, this is
yeah,
the
you're right,
internet.
you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. For internet purposes, when I'm talking about smoking, I'm talking about weed. Just so that way ain't no craziness. Motherfuckers think I was a crackhead coming up. Nah, that ain't me. I don't want nobody thinking that. But the hardest thing that was to give up was thinking that you're you kind of like by yourself when it comes to growing up. Like it's you against the world because in the Marine Corps, you could go to a place for the first time, never be there, like never know what's going on there. But if you meet another Marine, at least one, just because you guys share that name, that bond, that brotherhood, which is what we all like to call it, they will have your back through anything, no matter what. Like Marine Corps, it's one big family.
So that's like in the fine print. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
meet
literally one
another
big family.
Marine, you better jump in front of that bullet, I guess.
Oh God, it really is. Like, cause literally we're all brothers and sisters. I remember I was going to Norway. That was a fun cold time, but that's a story for later. Um, I had got separated from my people that I knew in my platoon and ended up being put into a different section. Never knew them, never met them a day in my life. But because of the fact that we shared that title, we had that same mutual respect of we've been through just about the same thing, maybe a little more, maybe a little less,
Hmm.
but we still did the requirements to make it here, and we're all suffering together, so we might as well have each other's backs while we're suffering.
So, like, when you used to go to like different countries, did your job like change? Like, of course, you have the same title because you're trained to do certain things, but like, was like the on-site job different than would be in the barracks?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So we did a whole lot of cross training, which is learning a job that isn't yours. Like whenever I traveled to Philadelphia in 2017, yeah, I was working with food service. I was one of the cooks. And then yeah, I know. And then going
Watery ass
down to
eggs.
oh, you wish. Do not try me. We
Uh,
already had this conversation once. Don't try me. Anyways, whenever I was going down with Florida, I was working with the radios and the satellites. And then being in Norway, I was doing my job plus doing motor T stuff, working with radios, the satellites, servers. It was a lot going on.
so like food
But
service, I got a question about the food service before we move on. Um,
okay.
like you gotta prepare every meal. Like you do breakfast, lunch, dinner, or you do breakfast every day, and then the next day you do lunch, or what is it like?
So how it went, at least during the times I was working with food service, what we did was we prepped breakfast, woke up hella early, like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, because everyone would be up at 6 to eat at 6:30. So we'd be up getting everything prepared. Basically, everything was in a box. That's it. All the food's in a box or in a can, but it was still good. I don't know what they put in it, but it was still good. And then lunchtime they had MREs, which is like the little baggies. Some of them were fire, some of them were disgusting. and dinner time we prep that. So in between breakfast and dinner, that was kind of like your time to like relax and chill, maybe get some sleep. That's what I did. I slept.
So what time
Huh.
is dinner? Like 6 o'clock, 6:30?
Um, ish. It was like four. So we started serving at around like 4:30, and then we'd end at around 6:37, depending on how many people we have.
Damn.
So for Philly, there was so much leeway in that one. We have like we'd have leftovers left in the fridge because we was staying on the boat, like docked. We ain't going nowhere. We was just docked in Philly, just chilling. It was great. Philadelphia was probably the best like trip I ever had because I got to explore Philly for the first time and really see what all hype was about, and I enjoyed it.
Live in Pennsylvania, and I've never been to Philadelphia, not once. I think that's a disservice as a
It is.
Pennsylvanian.
It really is. That's weird. I've never. That would be like me saying I've lived in Georgia my whole life, but I've never been to Atlanta. You know,
Well, um, Pennsylvania's pretty big. Like Philly's like a 6-hour drive. Like,
Atlanta's a four.
yeah, C4 will get you to Hershey. I've been to Hershey a few times. You feel me? We win. Shout out Farrell High. But
Never been.
I suggest going to Hershey. Like it's a couple hours from Philly.
Hmm. I'll check it out because I do want to travel within the next couple of years.
Okay, so my next question is: it sounds like you love the Marines. What played into your decision to leave?
Um, so the thing about that, I didn't like fully leave. I just left the active duty side
Oh, so
and I
you're a
switched over to yeah, I switched over to a reservist. I check into my new unit next weekend
hmm,
up in Marietta, which is close to Atlanta. But my main reason for wanting to switch was did I enjoy it? Yes,
you missed that civvy life.
but pretty much. I kind of miss being able to control what goes on throughout my daily routines,
Hmm.
because in the military you're constantly told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, which when you're young it kind of gets old, it gets redundant.
Hmm.
So I guess I guess you could say I just wanted a little bit of freedom back. So instead of giving away 5 days a week for 4 years, I'm only giving away a weekend once a month for three.
Yeah, I know a couple people in the reserves. They all be like, my one friend Chance, he just got out of the reserves. He was just so happy. Like the last, I'm probably not supposed to say this, but I'm not. I didn't drop his last name. So he used to go to like his what is it called, reserve base or whatever. He said the last couple times where he went, he ain't give a fuck. Like he was coming. Hey, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I turned all my shit in. I still got to come a couple of times, but I'm gonna come and I ain't doing nothing type time. You feel me? Like I've been doing this 4 years. I'm done. Like if you gonna kick me out, kick me out. But I'm
Bro, that
done.
sounded like me. That sounded like me coming out of active. Because I would literally be just sitting in the barracks. I would be like, "Ain't you supposed to be at work?" Nah, I ain't working. I get out in a month. I'm not working.
I remember
Go to work.
Velez. We was asking Velez like, "Yo, Supreme at work?" He's like, "That nigga not going to work. Like, it's coronavirus and he
Work.
about to be done. Like, what?"
Going to work. Nah, bro. I would be going to sleep.
So, do you feel like you accomplished? Like, well, what did you want to accomplish in the Marines, and do you feel like you accomplished that?
Um, I guess you could say I wanted to walk out of it as a better version of myself, you
Mhm.
know, kind of change the narrative, as people would say, of the life of Preem.
The life of Preem. Was you a
Hey,
problem child or something? Like, I'm not understanding.
when I was before high school, yeah, I
We was
kind of
all
was.
bad. We was all bad when we was growing
Yeah,
up.
yeah, before high school, everybody would love demons, but I was a little shithead.
Man,
Um,
TJ told me he used to be bad. I'm like, used to be bad. I can't see it. Like he's one of the nicest
mm-mm.
people. They used to.
Fact, bro. That's one of the most laid back motherfuckers I ever met, bro. Dude is just he's so like calm. I just don't see it.
Like, you used to apply pressure like that, T? Let me find out.
Yeah. But no, like I wasn't like the worst, but I wasn't the best. And then in high school, I was kind of like one of those slide through the cracks type of kids. So I guess I want to be something different, something better than myself, and be
Man.
a part of the bigger picture, as they would say.
So, what is post Marines preem looking like? Like, what do you, well, post active duty Marines preem looking like?
Um,
Like, what do you see
well,
yourself
right now,
accomplishing?
right now, working at the family daycare. I
Your mom
have
own
my
that?
own. Yeah, she literally started it from the ground up, and it's doing really well.
That's, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. I have my own class. 8 students now, all within the range of 3 to 7 years old. Starting college in the spring for nursing. I was gonna do a pediatric nurse with a minor in business, just in case I wanna, just in case the daycare branches off, so that way I can have my own section somewhere in the world.
Okay.
Um, hmm.
Brown Family Daycare.
Nah, it'll still be the same name, but just like an expansion. I would just be the one in charge of that one.
That
Like,
branch, I see it like a
yeah,
franchise.
the director. Yeah, that's mainly the goal. We just don't want to be stuck in one town with the business. We kind of want to branch out into other places.
Okay. I see. I see.
Um, but in what's future Preem looking like? Hopefully wearing scrubs, working in a hospital. Like legit, that's really the main goal.
So I personally couldn't
Maybe a
work in a
couple
hospital
kids.
because I don't do blood. I don't know. Like, what what is your take on that? Like, what if you see somebody like they're like, oh my god, he lost his hand and his shit just squirting out blood? Like, would that be the day you quit?
Nah,
He
I've
like,
seen
I
a
want
lot.
to see that shit. I want to see that shit.
Uh, like nah, I'm not gonna lie. Growing up, blood did used to kind of like make me queasy, but as I got older, I literally saw it as it's just blood. That's pretty much it.
I guess. I guess.
But to each his own.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you want to work in a. I mean, I work in the healthcare field, I guess, but doing blood, that'd be the day I'd be like, I don't get paid enough for this. Yeah.
Like, yeah, nah, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks and I'm out of here.
It's not even that. Just be like, man, I'm asked to soup, but like, yo, he bloody and shit. Can I go somewhere else? If he say no, I'm just like, psh. Levante
I'm
Davis
going
say,
home.
this a young man's game. I'm done.
I like that. I like that. It's a young man's game. I'm gonna take these glasses off because the glare is really showing up on the camera. I don't like that.
Another question that I got is, how did you get the name Preem? Like, how did you decide on Supreme? Whatever. I know I asked you that, but I don't think I got the answer.
Ah, okay. So me and my old work buddies, um, we had a group. Literally, it was like 5 or 6 of us. It was called RNS, which standed for real nigga shit. Cause legit, that's on a daily basis at work. That's all we spoke, and that's it. We spoke our minds, and that was that.
Hmm.
Nobody can, and we had one of our sergeants in it, so really no one could tell us shit because he always had our back. Like
So
that
he
was
was
that
like,
was like our yeah, that was like our pops. So one day we was all playing Siege, like because that was an everyday thing. We went to work, did the usuals, went home, jumped right on the Xbox to play Rainbow Six, and one of them, yeah, it was our boy Major. He's type beast, like all the all the Supreme and Yeezys. He was about it. He had them first day, so he had the idea. He was like, yo, we need a siege clan. It was like, you're kind of right. Cause we ran it consistently for about 4 or 5 months, like every day back to back. So we was all trying to think of like clan names. And then he was like, how about Supreme? And we all thought about it. It was like, you know what? It's not a bad idea. So everybody was getting their shit down. We had Supreme Joker, Supreme Wallin, which is my boy Ryan. Um, shit, I forgot what Andrew's name was, freaking Major. And then we had me, Supreme Savage. That is what it is.
This guy was the enforcer of the group.
No, the only reason is because on whenever we was doing like defense, I played Doc, and I was a savage with Doc because if you talking crazy, you getting down, you're not getting that stem pistol.
See, I don't know too much about
Is
Siege.
that?
It sound like you was
Oh,
throwing
we be talking
barbed wire
crazy.
and shit. You was
Nah, like so for Doc, the stem pistol is like if somebody was downed, you can shoot them with it, and they'll get like revived and give them like extra health and shit like that.
oh
Now,
okay.
I was the motherfucker where if they was downed and I saw it and they was talking crazy before the match started, I would accidentally switch to my revolver and cap them for the one time. Oh,
Hey,
team kills happened a lot in those lobbies. We had a eye for an eye type of deal, So like
that voted kick
I
ain't no
was,
joke on the Siege though.
oh, it definitely wasn't. we definitely kick each other out and then have them join right back in. But yeah, that and then after a while, after the clan was born, we just stopped because everybody started going different places, which is around the time I met y'all playing 2K.
So I feel like low key like a dunce. Like so we took your clan name and not even your fucking your individual name. We took your
I
surname
mean,
basically instead of your.
I mean, it kind of was individual because at that time I was the only one that kept it because I didn't feel like changing it. Everyone else changed their shit back to the original, but Supreme Savage stuck with me. And then I just started building up on that. Went from Supreme Savage to Supreme Sage, Bus Preem for the Clan Boys, and now is Preem the Dream.
That's legit. That's legit.
Yeah. So I'm glad you actually brought up the topic of high school. I was gonna ask you, I've heard stories, well, like glimpses of stories of high school Deante, but I kind of want to know like the full extent. So give me your wildest high school highlight, like craziest thing you did in high school.
I wasn't wild in high school. I ain't gonna say I wasn't wild. I was more so of a. I always been like a quiet person. Like when I was in like the 8th grade, I was so close to being Facebook famous. We gonna laugh about this later because I said this, but I was so close. I was this close,
All
and
right, give
then
me the story. Nah, you,
nah,
you got to give me the story on that.
it ain't no it ain't really no story. It was just so like my personality. Like growing up. I used to be a little chubbier. I felt like I was ugly growing up. I mean, you could say I'm ugly now. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't care. I'm grown as hell. You ain't gonna hurt my
Hey man,
feelings.
you said it, not me. These
But
are
it
your
was,
words.
so it was like I had that ugly motherfucker personality. You feel me? They have great personalities. So
Hmm.
when I actually started losing weight, gaining muscle, you know, dressing better, looking better. It was like, oh,
Hmm.
people want to hear what you got to say. People want to talk to you. People want to be your friend type shit. Like it was a big difference. That's why, like I just be cool off of that now. Like, like I see, the social media clout what it is. So I see it for what it is. You know what I mean? Like it ain't,
Hmm.
it ain't really people care about what you're saying because like you're an important person. It's just you
It's
look
just how
like
you
yeah,
look and how you carry yourself.
yeah, it look like you should be important, you know?
Hmm. I mean, that makes sense. That's kind of how it is for like. That's kind of how it is for the Marines. It's like they make you improve not only mentally wise, but like personal appearance. You kind of get the gist of how to take care of yourself, how to carry yourself in public, in and out of uniform.
See, and
Which,
I didn't learn that until I was older. You know, I used to be like, I don't give a fuck. I wear a white t-shirt and sweatpants every day. You feel me? Some beat up kicks. I ain't here to impress nobody.
no,
You feel me?
don't get me
Until you,
wrong. I
until I
still do. I
realized,
still
like,
slum it and bum it.
you feel me? Like, until I realized, like, you can only meet certain people dressing a different way. When
Hmm.
when you show them, like, hey, I can give a fuck. That's when they start trying to hear what you gotta say, or entertain you or whatever.
Pretty much, yeah.
But
Because like one thing I was always told was no one gives a fuck if you give a fuck.
mhm,
That's pretty much it.
facts.
Like like everywhere you go, people are gonna match your energy. So like if you walk around like you just don't care about anything, nobody gonna care about what you gotta say.
Facts. All they do is
Okay.
reciprocate energy. You come
Yeah.
in giving a fuck, like, oh, just like if you would be
Mhm.
like, Dino, you gotta buy Bitcoin right now, right now. I'm not gonna be like, oh, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. I'm gonna be like, why the fuck is you saying this? Like, and then I'm gonna look up all
Like,
the negative shit about it. You feel me? Just so I could be like,
uh-huh.
they telling me not to do it because of it. It's just it is what it is.
Like it's literally just two sides of the coin. That's it.
Facts.
But hmm. Okay. So you work in kind of like a healthcare facility now.
Hmm.
So like give me like a day to day of what it's like being there.
I mean, I work with TJ, who we play the game with. Shout out T. But like we all we always build a game plan like I hate coming to work, like I don't want to go to work tomorrow, but really I fucks with my job, like it's just like every other job. You gotta do your hard work, your paperwork, your books. You gotta go, you know what I'm saying, you gotta follow shit guidelines. It's just like any other job, but like the fun part about it is working with people with like disabilities. Like you see how they learn, and it helps you become like a better person, like a better parent or a better teacher. Like I just feel like watching some of that shit that they, like the way they process shit. I see Junior, like a 3-year old, like processing stuff the same way, and I can help him different ways, just because like I done already experience which ways work, which ways don't, and vice versa.
Okay. All right, that's a good. That's actually really good, especially since it kind of like helps you already be one step forward when it comes to raising your kid.
Facts.
That's a little homie. Shout out to Junior too.
Yeah, he'll be here in a little
Uh,
bit. Raising, he was acting up today. He need his ass beat. I'm gonna leave this in here too. I ain't editing this out.
nah, nah, that's a one take. Keep that. But nah, so obviously from us constantly playing 2K, we're obvious basketball fans. You played in high school, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Shout out to Coach House. Well, so what really, I guess I can say, not really what, but who, in terms of NBA players, gave you that inspiration of this is what I would want to do and enjoy, like as entertainment or like something to do?
Okay, so I didn't start playing basketball until I was in the 7th grade. So a lot of people don't know this. I played one sport for Sharon ever because I played for Farrell growing up. I
Hmm.
played Sharon Tiger basketball in the 7th grade, and I really, I was terrible. So what happened was I actually started watching Hakeem Olajuwon and Paul Pierce and who else? Like Kobe. I was At first, I was a big Kobe fan. Like, it's weird saying that because I like the Celtics, but I was, Kobe was that dude. People used to be like, LeBron's the best. I'm like, fuck out of here. Kobe would give him buckets every day until,
Kobe, bro.
LeBron had to shut me up a couple times for me to be a believer.
Man,
But
rest in peace to the great one, bro. Like
facts.
legit.
R.I.P. Mamba.
2020 was a bad start.
Facts. See,
Nah,
but,
so I guess like you grew up loving the post, like
oh,
post play.
yeah, because I ain't gonna say I can't dribble for shit. I still can't really dribble. I can dribble a little bit. I look like Kendrick Perkins for
Big perk.
real. But yeah, you could say that the post was where I had to play. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it was kind of like the same for me because growing up, I was always about the fundamentals. Like the basics that'll win you a championship. Spurs fan starting off. You know this. I was a big Tim Duncan fan. That was my boy. Like the way he played and the way he carried himself on and off court, it was like something you've never seen in a long time. So, and then they ended up getting Kawhi Leonard, which that defense was something crazy.
Man, I love watching good defense.
My
Like it
God,
just be different. Like you'd be like, oh my
like when
god, he slide
people
his feet.
like when people say defense wins championships, like that is shit crazy. I don't know. It's just like the way he could defend like on and off ball. He would. It was like a quick switch.
So you be trying to be Kawhi Leonard out there?
I mean, kind of a mix of both because
Yeah.
defense was really because of my height growing up. I was always one of the tallest ones out there, so defense was really something I was always good at.
How tall is you? What, 6 foot?
Yeah, I'm like 6 foot, but
See, and
when
that's
you
and
growing
that's
up in Georgia, that's tall.
bruh,
Yeah,
facts. Bruh, I'm telling you, I used to play five. Like, why am I playing center? I'm
oh
5'10",
God.
5'11". You feel me? Like
Like when you growing up, you 6 feet tall, everybody automatically be like, nah, get your big ass in the paint. So like defense was kind of something I was stuck at being good at. I
Mhm.
was able to read passing lanes quicker and being able to watch ball movement on the other team, which is weird because I can't apply that to 2K where shit. Even though I'm our big man, I still struggle with it sometimes.
See,
It'd be like that. But 2K is a whole nother spectrum. That's a topic for a different time.
see, the whole basketball subject. Who's your GOAT? LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, Kareem.
Oof.
Give me the top
See, that's
three.
a tough one.
Give me the top three.
My top three greatest.
Hmm.
Um, so for my number, I'm gonna start back. Go three, two, one. Um, a lot of people are gonna
Patron.
say this is weird. The good shit. So a lot of people gonna say this is weird, but for my number three, I'd have to say Oscar Robinson. The only reason is one, before Russell Westbrook, he was the only player to average a triple double in a season. Like
Hmm. I give you.
before a couple years ago, that was unheard of. Kind of like the 100 points from
Well, yeah.
Wilt. Yeah, is no one ever thought it would be possible again. But in today's NBA, anybody could come out walking with a freaking walking triple double.
Yeah,
Especially
def-
Westbrook.
definitely. They used to play more minutes
Um,
back then, though. Like,
Facts.
I seen
Rules were
something
way
like
different too.
we'll play like 54 minutes in a game. Like that's a whole game and an overtime period. Like
You mean tell me you was in there for a whole hour and that's just a regular like that's regular time for y'all?
facts. Like you ain't get subbed out
Bro, what?
once. Once
You stayed in the whole time.
you wasn't in
You
foul
wasn't
trouble. You
tired
wasn't tired. Nothing. Like
and was still dropping buckets. Was it? Wait, wasn't that the game he dropped 100 in?
nah. I don't think so. I
No, it
think
was a
that
different
game.
game.
Yeah, I think that game he had like 57 or something like that. He got some crazy stats.
Even even then, that was a walk at the big. Well, let's see. Number two. Number two, I'd have to go Kobe. I
Mm.
gotta say Kobe. I don't. A lot of people are gonna say I'm weird. I'm gonna just say it now. LeBron James is not in my top three. He's not.
Ooh, that's tough.
Eh,
That's tough.
He's not. I don't get me wrong. LeBron James is a phenomenal player.
Hmm.
He's a great athlete, a great person in on and off the court. Like he gives back to the community, which is what people really enjoy. But
Hmm.
yeah, I have to say Kobe because well, you walk up and ask anybody who Kobe Bryant is, I guarantee they'll tell you at least one great thing he's done in the league, if not maybe more.
I told you,
From
I like Kobe.
from Froby to Kobe, like they'll give you something crazy that he's done.
Okay.
And then number one, classic, Mr. Three-peat twice.
Black
Shit,
Jesus.
Michael Jordan, bro. Yeah,
Black
like
Jesus.
Jesus. But Michael Jordan, like, cause growing up, that's the one player that I was always watching. It was Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan, and then Allen Iverson before he left. Those are the three I watched the most. And then I discovered Oscar Robinson and the way he played and how he could literally just go on the court and do whatever he wanted, and no one could stop him back then. Like, he was like another Wilt. Couldn't nobody touch him. He would score, get assists, and get rebounds all in the same game, and then average a triple double after a season. Like, come on,
As a
huh?
guard, as a
Yeah,
guard,
as a point guard too at
during the
that.
league with seven, like legit 7 footers. You right?
hmm
That shit was
Which
crazy.
is why it's still crazy that Russell Westbrook can walk in and do it as a guard with a whole lot of 7 footers. I mean, granted, he was kind of a ball hog that season, so I guess it did make sense that he would average it. I'm not gonna say he wasn't. He was.
I'm gonna just throw this out there for, the podcast. I feel like Westbrook shouldn't have got that MVP that year.
Oh
Yes,
no, James
yeah,
Harden should have
yeah.
got that
Harden led the league in scoring and was
by
second in assists. No, he was no,
by
he was
far.
second.
James Harden should have got that.
He was second in scoring and first in assists. I was like, see what you what James Harden
Mhm.
is like.
Like, bruh.
He ain't averaging a triple double, but he averaging what it was like 30 and 15 almost. Like,
Mhm.
that's crazy.
Shit, my boy was putting up my career numbers,
So
just chilling.
so my top
But
three,
mhm.
my top three, three, I gotta give it to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Okay.
Wall Center. I think that's his real name. Um, he won at every level. Like you feel me? Like dominated at every. I ain't gonna say dominate. He did dominate at every level. He's the NBA's leading scorer. He's like top five in rebounds and blocks or something like that.
Mhm.
And he's efficient. Like, and he played across multiple eras and succeeded. So I don't know. And he beat Jordan. Did he beat Jordan in the finals? No, he didn't beat Jordan in the
Nah,
finals.
he did.
Jordan never lost in the finals. He beat. I mean, granted, he had Magic Johnson with him, who was also in my top 10. But
Mhm.
hey, he was. I felt like he dominated regardless. He also played with Oscar Robertson too. But two, I got to give it to my boy Braun. And
I respect it.
it's not even like a two. It's like a 1B. You feel me? Like I feel
Mhm.
like he make everybody on the court better, like significantly better. But
I mean, this is true. This man left the Heat, went to the Cavs, and instantly got a championship.
man, see,
That's
I'm
just
telling you,
crazy.
he turned me into a believer. I used to be like, he ain't the Kobe. He ain't got this on Kobe. He ain't got.
Like
And
honestly, that year is when I really actually gained a higher respect for LeBron.
you talking about
Was
that
when
year when he came
he,
back to the Cavs?
yeah,
See, for me, it was that first year that he left and went to Miami and couldn't nobody
bro,
like when he was okay with people not liking
him,
him. That was a problem. Like I felt like
bro, him
every
and
night.
D Wade, that combo was deadly.
Thanks.
And then they added Chris Bosh and Ray Allen to the mix.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That NBA Finals between the Heat and the Spurs, I was a little salty with Ray Allen. I was salty with that 3-point shot. And there's a funny story behind that one. So I was at my cousin's and we was watching Game 6, and the Spurs was up, everything was going good, and literally out of nowhere, he's like, all they really need to come back is two quick threes, and what do you know?
Bang
and two
bang.
quick threes happened.
LeBron. Bron.
LeBron came up, hit a three. Freaking Kawhi missing one of the most important free throws in his life. Ray Allen coming in and just absolutely spraying Tony Parker.
I remember.
But
I remember that.
yeah,
I remember all
but
the
a year
defense was
year
leaving.
later we got that.
Yeah. See, and what the reason why I don't put Kobe on my top five, I mean in my top three, he's in my top five. The reason I don't put him in my top three is because he said multiple times, like, they was like, what about if you and Shaq was on page, would y'all have won more championships or whatever? He was like, we always was on the same page when it came down to it. So we just got beat. And I'm like, you know,
Mm,
LeBron got beat, but he wasn't getting beat unless it was the finals. You feel me? Unless it was the
that is
best,
true.
the best. And that's the only reason why I can't put him, in my top three. And then number one is, you know, sir, you heard it.
Uh huh.
Mike,
Uh
Big Mike, and
huh. Big Mike, bro.
up
You
until like
just it's just
last
it.
year, I would have been like, LeBron was better. You feel me? Like I really felt like LeBron was better than Jordan for a long time until you actually start sitting back and hearing people talk about what Jordan used to do to them. Like
Hmm.
the two-way shit mixed with, I'm a sore 60 on you. Like that's not, like
So
Clay.
so his documentary made you a believer, huh?
It was before the doc though. It was like I didn't even watch The Last Dance. Like I watched the first episode. I watched like 30 minutes. After that, we already knew how that was gonna go, so I didn't tune in. But
We knew the story. They didn't have to say it.
facts, like
I
everybody.
just want to say it's funny how Gary Payton really capped on Mike like that.
What did he say?
So he was basically saying how he was kind of one of the only ones that could lock Jordan up.
Oh no, he was. He was.
Bro, did you watch the highlights of Jordan versus Gary Payton, bro? He would lock him up for a little bit, but Jordan would be killing him. Like he'd have a couple moments where he'd really have him clamped, but at the end of the day, Jordan would literally drop 30 points on him easily.
Okay, I give you that. You right, but I feel like Gary Payton is.
Oh,
He
Gary
used to
Payton
be on his
defense was
ass. He
oh
used to be
yeah,
on his
Gary
ass.
Payton was probably one of the best defenders ever in the league. Like literally, he's probably one of the top three defenders, no doubt.
Dang. See, and then the round out my top five would be four would be Kobe, five would be Shaq. You feel me? Like that's my top five. Like I respect
Mm,
all the older players. Magic
hmm
is at six, but you know, AI at seven. But besides that, y'all
Yeah,
ain't that top seven ain't being
that
fucked
that
with by
top
anybody
seven,
else that ever
nah, bro.
played. You feel me? Maybe Wilt, you throw Wilt in there, but
Because that's a whole starting lineup and a good rotation.
see,
That honestly, that your top five is scary. I'm not gonna lie.
see, like Shaq is a dog. I don't even like like a lot. Shaq is like underrated for his career to me. You feel me? Like if you don't know, he beat Jordan in the playoffs in Jordan's prime. You feel me? Like
That
granted,
is
Jordan
true.
came. It wasn't a full season that he played, but he beat him in his prime in the playoffs.
Okay. Since we since we go into the topic of underrated, right now in today's league, before the whole Corona COVID-19 mess happened, who do you think was the most underrated player?
Hmm. That's a tough one.
Hmm.
Cause I feel like a lot of players get a lot of respect. Like, you know, a lot of people. If you ask anybody else this question, they're gonna say Dame Lillard, and I'll be like, I feel like a lot of people respect Dame Lillard game. Like I feel like
Hmm.
he get the recognition he deserves. And then there's
He does.
a lot of people that say Drew Holiday. But I feel like I watch Hoop. Everybody know Drew Holiday been a bucket, been a two-way star. We all know that. So it's hard. So I will probably say like, ooh, damn, I don't know.
Really? All right.
Okay, hold on. I got one. I feel like Rudy Gobert is probably like the most underrated player in the league. Like he's head and shoulders the best
It's
defensive
true.
big man that we've had in a long time. You know,
That's true.
and he since he played in Utah, we don't really, I mean, we
We don't
don't
really
really pay
see nothing.
attention to we don't really pay
Nah.
attention to defense anyway. But like the way he played defense, he blocked a lot of shots, but he like, he rotate, I feel like he do all the small stuff.
Um, I'd agree, but I'd have to say that I do see him getting a lot more recognition now than what he now a couple years ago, yeah, he would be the most underrated player. But right now, like in today's league, I'd say for me, who I think the most underrated player is would have to be a tie between Kemba Walker and Jared Allen.
Jared Allen.
Cause Rudy Gobert, his defense is nice, but Jared Allen got some nice defense. Like he's a very underrated young big man.
Yeah. See,
That man, he got a good career ahead of him. He goes crazy.
I just feel like he got to give up the fro, man. It's 2020. We ain't going full, 70 soul glow afro.
No,
No,
I think
man.
like I don't know. I think like I guess you could say that's kind of what makes him like individual, kind of
It's his
like
brand.
stand out from the crowd. Yeah, because I mean that's how people know him now as he's the fro.
Man,
Yeah, because James Harden, he has his beard.
Anthony Davis got the brow.
Yeah, Anthony Davis got the brow. Freaking Kawhi Leonard got them big ass hands, the claw, and Jared Allen got the fro. Everyone has their own like specific brand.
Okay. I see. I
Shit,
see.
shit. Even Curry got one with the mouthpiece.
I ain't trying to hear
Uh
that.
huh. I'm telling you, every player has a brand, no matter what it is.
Sure, we went to that football game, the high school football game. We came back, they was playing a big game, and they let us all on the field. And, you know, people would just walk up to you and, ask you, like, hey, we was watching film of when y'all played, like, well, what was you, asking for tips? And I'm like, dang,
Hmm.
we was good, but I ain't know, I wasn't even a 1-star, 2-star recruit. Like I had numbers, but,
I
like,
went
hey,
crazy like that.
yeah, but like for you to approach me and ask me for my input on like a football side, and I ain't even play college football, like like you be like, damn,
Hmm.
I feel that I impacted the game in some way besides, whatever that means. You get what I'm saying? Like it feel
Yeah, no,
good
no, no. I feel it because
to impact the next
I've actually
generation.
I've been in that situation, just not with like sports. It's actually happened to me during my time in active duty because every once in a while we get new Marines in, like new junior Marines, and you being there like already knowing kind of I guess the system of the shop we worked at, they would come to you and ask you for like advice on I guess a day-to-day life and making it through. So honestly, in my opinion, being a corporal in the Marine Corps is the greatest rank you could ever be. Like that is it is it's my current rank and it's my favorite rank because you can really see how much of a difference you make
So
in
you're
your
still a
junior Marines lives.
so you're still a corporal as a reserve?
Yeah, I keep my same rank. I just go to it's kind of like moving to a different unit, but it's more like part time.
Yeah, I would say you going down to part time.
Yeah, is literally Marines now is my part time job, and the daycare is my full time.
So you don't do you ever? I mean, you ever thought you say you would miss the Marines? You think you miss them?
Over time, yeah, because I feel like everyone who's been in and gotten out in some way, shape, or form, they miss it. Like for me, I just miss the people.
Shout out Kevin Velez.
Oh God, shout out to homie Velez, bro. We got to get him on here one day.
But as a guest, what I'm thinking, I want to do Jello, Lenny, and Marcus. I want to get them all on here. Like you know Marcus kinda, but if
Yeah.
we get these stories going, like we can't put every story out there, but like if you put these stories out there, you'll be like,
Nah.
Hey, y'all went to do some funny shit. You feel me? Like y'all did some funny shit. Y'all,
Mhm.
you know, shout out Malcolm X in the background. I just want to say that he been there the whole time, but
Yeah, facts. I noticed that.
but like
But
we
nah,
some crazy shit, like some crazy stories. Like not even on no like wild teen shit. You like these stories would be crazy if you was an adult and it happened to you. So
just
just
like some shit that no one would ever expect to go through.
never. Like I'm talking
Nah, I've
about
been there.
what. I'm gonna give y'all a little preview because we're gonna have like a little storytelling podcast. So that's what before we have a guest, that's what I want to do. I want to have like a little storytelling session. Um, I'm thinking one of the stories I got is when we went to Clarion to see Marcus. Jello had dropped out by then, so we rode all the way to Clarion, which is like an hour away, with my car. So the original plan was to go to Slippery Rock and go to a party and then go home. So Lenny used to go to school at Slippery Rock, so we go link up with Lenny, and then Jello like I don't know shit out here, so we can go to Clarion. That's where I know shit at. So it's like, dang, all right. So my route was already fucked up. Like I'm talking
Hmm.
about like the plastic from like the back of my bumper was hitting my tire. So when you hear it, so when you driving, you can hear it hitting it like every once in a while, like boo 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 boo. So we drove all the way to Clarion that night, stay party. We didn't even party, it was ass. So that morning we leaving out at like 7, 8 a.m. We blow a tire on the freeway. So when we blow a tire, the shrapnel from the tire hits my radiator. Stop. 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 I'm my fault. I had to
Had to be a dad.
yeah. But
Yeah, he had to be a dad. It's cool. It's cool.
so the tire blew out and shrapnel from it hit the radiator. So when they did that, like all the smoke started flowing inside the car. So what we was just trying to do was put oil in the ride and put like water in the radiator just so we can get back to the crib. You feel me? Because
Hmm.
45 minutes you gonna have to refill with water a couple of times, but like shit,
But
you
you
feel
can
like you
make
can
it.
make it, yeah,
Yeah,
bro. When I tell
didn't make
you,
it.
what we put oil in my shit, we put water in my shit. I'm talking about my shit rolled down to the corner. Like we got to the exit, like because it was a gas station right off the off of 80. So
Hmm.
we get back to go back on 80 from the gas station, and my shit cut off. Like I'm talking about locked up, wouldn't start back up. So we had to push that bitch back to the gas station from the exit. Crazy
I got a
vibe.
story for that. Oh, I got a story for that. Oh, I got a story. Get 2 years. I got a good story after this one.
Man, so we was down in like I know I'm gonna catch some flack for this, but we was in like Hickville for like 4 or 5 hours. No, it was longer than that. It was longer than that. It was like 5, 6 hours because I was like, I'm not calling it. You feel me? Like it was my ride, but I'm like, I'm not gonna be the one that call my parents. Like I ain't. You feel me? I'm not even gonna
I
do
ain't
it
telling them that. Nah.
because they already told me about you feel me being out the way and doing and then my car happened to
Hmm.
fuck up. I ain't even trying to hear that. Like
I ain't trying to deal with that mess right now.
facts, bruh, facts. Because I was because I was still in college myself, so I you still deal with your parents and shit, but you
Hmm.
get what I'm saying. Like that shit was
Yeah, like
stressful.
it's still like a speech you'd rather not hear at the time.
Facts. So long story short, we sat there for like 5, 6 hours. Lenny's sister come scoop us. They take me back to the crib. I get back to the crib. I tell my parents. They ain't even snapped. They wasn't even mad. We just went and got the ride the next day, and it was cool. Like it was like, bro, like like that was
So
a
it's
crazy
it's like a
story.
reaction you didn't expect.
Yeah, like that's when I was
Okay.
like, I can't just be doing shit.
All right. Hold on. Let me get my pillow and shit. I got comfortable for this one. This is a good one. Okay. So it's my it's the summer of my seventh grade going into eighth grade year.
Hmm.
And me and my mom's is moving to North Carolina. So we kind of got settled in. A couple weeks go by, we decide we gonna go back to Georgia to just hang out with the fam, just
Hmm.
spend some time with them. We get to South Carolina and we low on gas. So we're like, all right, cool. Let's take this exit. and let's just fill up and we just keep on going. There was a gas station on the left. Looked a little shady, but it looked alright. And there was a gas station on the right. The gas station on the left had the lowest gas price. So being niggas, we picked that one.
I'm getting the bang for my buck.
Yeah, facts. So we go, we fill up. Everything's cool. About an hour by, an hour on the road go by. Car shuts off completely. Just stops. Cuts off by itself. We don't know what's going on. So I was like, okay. We get off. We luckily was already on the right side of the double lane. So we get off to the side. She turned the car back on. Well, no, she put it in neutral because we were still rolling. Turn the car back on. We go. We go for about.
I'm listening. I hear you.
All right. We go for about 20 more minutes. Car shuts off again. I don't know what's going on. She called my uncle, the one I got my name from, and she explained to him everything. He's a mechanic. He fixes vehicles, like cars, 4-wheelers, and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, and this shit had me rolling. He was like, there might have been some water in that gas pump. And my mom, she's like, water? He's like, yeah, sometimes water will get into it while you pumping gas and it'll mess everything up, shut your car off instantly. So okay, how we fix it? Going to the gas station, get some rubbing alcohol, pour it in your gas tank. I'm sitting there like,
I ain't never heard of that one before.
I haven't either.
Hearing that one.
I haven't either. I was like, rubbing alcohol. All right, so my mom, she gives me some cash. I go in there, I find the rubbing alcohol, I grab it, I start dumping it all in the gas tank, like a whole bottle in that bit now. And we keep going. He was like, the best thing for y'all to do is just ride all the water out. That's exactly what we did. So for 2 straight hours, there's nothing but the car cutting off.
Oh,
my mom
shit.
putting it, yeah. My mom putting it in neutral, starting it back up, and we just keep riding.
That's so
for
crazy.
2 hours.
That's
like, bruh, that was the longest trip home we ever been in.
like that. Finally, nerve-wracking.
It was. So finally, it just so happened to start working again while we hit the exit to go into Savannah, because that's how we get to my hometown, is going through Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
And we get home, and my sisters, they're like, "What took y'all so long?" So we explained them everything, and they were like, "Yeah, no, don't go to that gas station no more." And then ironically, going back to Fayetteville, we stopped at the same exit.
At the same gas station?
No, not the same gas station. We went to the other one, the other time. We learned our lesson. Went to the other gas station. Ended up having a smooth ride the whole way there.
Damn, they got you crazy to do this shit.
But a 6-hour ride turned into a 10-hour ride because of that.
I'm the GOAT.
I'm the dream.
And this has been the A Dream and a GOAT
podcast.
Thank you, man. Tune in. More content coming soon. More guests.
All right. Y'all will love it.